Hi, Jathan. So I'm doing video comments for the finals. It's just easier for me because then I don't have to type everything out. And anyway, so first of all, I hope that you and family and friends are all well, all healthy, keeping sane. I know that the lockdown in the Bahamas is way more severe, and I think that's good, but it does take a toll. I've had a lot of students and just friends down there tell me it's straining, so I hope everything's going okay. Also, before I forget, these comments are only to you, okay? So the link will be in the Moodle page there. Okay. So, and they'll be about 5-6 minutes long, so I should be able to cover most of what I need to say. Where are the poems? Okay. So here we've got, for example, thoughts of her. I mean, the whole poem is about this other person, so the title won't work. Now here, what you're doing is, this is kind of it's close to what we would call confessional poetry, which is where the persona of the poem is pretty much directly the writer. And, I know, I've written, lost love poems too. I know the feeling. So what I would suggest, though, is to really think about how you can use line and image in these poems, because like I said, those are the fundamental aspects of lyric poetry. So they're all very honest, but there's still, it's just like, basically it's like every line is like, well, this person's gone, this person's gone, this person's gone. Okay. Let me hold on. Let me. I'm gonna pause this for a moment. I'm gonna find a poem. It's a lost love poem. But I think I want you to listen how this works, and I want you to try to think about this as you reformulate these poems. Okay, one moment. Okay, I found it. This is a poem called "Animals" by Frank O'Hara. It doesn't use any punctuation. You can go and find it online. It's really good. Have you forgotten what we were like then, when we were still first rate, and the day came fat with an apple in its mouth? It's no use worrying about time, but we did have a few tricks up our sleeves and turned some sharp corners. The whole pasture looked like our meal. We didn't need speedometers. We could manage cocktails out of ice and water. I wouldn't want to be faster or greener than now if you were with me. Oh, you were the best of all my days. And you see how he's using image? And if you go look at this poem, look at how he's using enjambment, right? It's a really great poem, and it evokes all of that loss, okay, through these images, through the memories, but they're all very specific, and the language choices are all very interesting. So that is where I would ask to push your poems, okay, if you want to continue editing them. The story, I'm sorry, I'm gonna fry your nipples off with this taser. It still makes me laugh. I'm actually kind of glad you left it in there. Here's what I would do. Now, this is a serviceable draft for the purposes of the class, okay? But I would suggest this, and this is going to require a gigantic revision, okay? Almost to the point of getting rid of all of the story, probably at least 70% of it. Because you're shifting viewpoints a lot between Veronica and between Henry, okay? And that gets really confusing, okay? So what I would say is write the story from the point of Henry, okay? And then you can even work in elements of comedy where he's this violent, just terrible person. And through a series of almost accidents, right? let's say he even tortures and kills this person, which is terrifying. And he's investigated, but through a series of accidents, he can't be caught. It's not because he's like a criminal genius, right? It's because they just can't pin it on him yet. Okay, because that might allow you to keep at least the core of the story. Because the way you wrap it up at the end, where it's like they've got a dead body. They clearly Veronica and Henry were hanging out. He would be the prime suspect in this situation. They wouldn't just let him go, right? And if they had their suspicions and they got a warrant, they are clearly going to find this evidence, right? This guy doesn't seem like a criminal mastermind. So it's just there's so many implausibilities in the story, and that is what, to me, just rips the story apart. Because it's like, okay, well, how do they not catch this guy? He doesn't break under interrogation. He loves her so much, but also doesn't have a conscience. He cuts her head off, for goodness sake. That's other level sort of crazy. Okay, so it's those implausibilities that really, for me, are dragging the story down. So I think if you made it kind of funny almost, and then what that comedy does, okay, it contrasts very sharply through irony, like the horrors of what he's doing, right, with this almost kind of lighthearted tone. So that's where I would take this if I were you, in later revisions. So anyway, thank you, stay safe, and I will hopefully see everybody back in Nassau in August. So, bye.